Republican Thoughts with Miss Twitty.
Republican Thoughts with Miss Twitty.
Elisha Grimsley from California. He would like to share his Republican thoughts today. Elisha Grimsley, thank you so much for being here and sharing your thoughts. What are your conservative opinions and views that you would like to share?
Hey, Miss Twitty. Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor just to be here, to be able to share my Republican thoughts here. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share this. I'll just get right into it. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area. I was born in Oakland, California. Right now, I reside in San Pablo, California, which is not too far away from San Francisco, just maybe about 30 miles or so. But I did my history, and here's some of my Republican thoughts. I did my history just on California alone. I mean, I have a whole lot of reasons why I'm a Republican.
Okay.
But just this one, California used to be a red state, believe it or not. Right now, it's a very blue state, and it's been blue for a long time, for maybe about the last 30 years or maybe 30 or 40 years or so.
Interesting.
But there was a time when San Francisco, California, the whole state was a red state, and particularly San Francisco. And back in the 40s and 50s, when it was a red state, you had the black population of San Francisco was about 14% black. And that population was a very thriving black population. You had what you call the Fillmore district, which is the black business district, just booming with black businesses all up and down Fillmore. Blacks owned the Fillmore.
I understand.
Blacks also owned a lot of property and a lot of land in San Francisco in the 40s and 50s when it was a red state. And it was just a booming population and a booming, thriving black economy in San Francisco, especially, like I said, the Fillmore area. And over the years, as the state turned more blue, more democratic, a few things happened. And I've noticed it's a pattern in all democratic states, all of them. It's the same pattern that happens. And in San Francisco, as the state turned more democratic, the black population dwindled down to now today, the population of San Francisco is only 4.5% black. And of those 4.5%, majority of those blacks live in the two poor areas of San Francisco called Hunters Point and the Tenderloins. Those are where they concentrated those 4.5% black. A lot of blacks are in prison. They are in prison. A lot of those blacks are in prison. Or and the rest of them were pushed out, or moved out, or bought out. You know, a lot of them sold their properties. Now you won't find black businesses in San Francisco pretty much at all. It's very hard to find a black business in San Francisco. And I looked at the pattern like, wait a minute. As the state turns more democratic, because blacks tend to vote Democratic, you would think that the environment would be more conducive for blacks. So you would think that more blacks would like, hey, we voted Democratic. But the total opposite happens. You get more people in prison, and another strange thing is also the Hispanic population has gone up, and the Chinese population has gone up, and of course the white population pretty much always stays about the same. So and another interesting thing is over the past 15 years I've been here in California, a lot of my friends or a lot of people who I knew growing up, they all saying, hey, I'm moving to Colorado. They moved to Colorado. A lot of them say, hey, I'm moving to Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm moving to Arizona. I'm moving to Houston, Texas. And a gang of blacks from all over moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So, and I looked at all these states have something in common that a lot of the blacks are moving to. They are all red states. Colorado, Nevada, Las Vegas, Arizona, Texas, and Georgia. they're all moving out of blue states because the blue states are no longer conducive for them to live anymore. It's too expensive and yada yada. Can't buy a house and all that. Can't start a business because of high taxes. So they move out of blue states, and all these states are red states that they're moving to.
Interesting.
Now, on top of all this, the craziest thing is once all of these people, blacks, move to these red states, they move to the red state and want to turn the state blue. I was absolutely shocked to see so many black people want to go to Atlanta, Georgia, to turn Georgia, turn the state blue. Now, Atlanta has been a thriving economy for blacks from what I hear. I haven't been to Atlanta yet, but I know people who have went. They talk about all the black businesses, all the opportunities that are there for blacks. And I've had a lot of people from California, a lot of friends, move to Atlanta and start business, start radio shows, start all kinds of stuff out there inside of red state, Georgia. And now they want to turn the state blue. And it makes me wonder, like, what happened? And I look at the news, I look at the media, and what they've done is they've just emotionally triggered, especially blacks, just to ignore the evidence that's before their eyes. Like, you went to a red state to have a better life, to buy a house, to have a lower rent, to have lower taxes to start a business. And you are so emotionally triggered that you don't see none of that. All you see is what they put, racism and all this kind of stuff that you put in it. But the same thing that happened in the Fillmore district and a lot of these other thriving black districts, once it turns Democratic and you can set Atlanta on a timer, give it 20 years, all those black businesses are going to be gone. And then you have them who are there going to be moving to another red state. And it almost seems like a tactic between the Democratic Party.
Good point. Good point.
So these type of things are some of my Republican thoughts. And like I said, Miss Twitty, there's so many other reasons, but that's the prominent one. If I would challenge any black person or any Democrat to ask themselves, why are you moving to a red state? Why are you moving to a place with lower taxes so you can start a business? If it's the Democratic Party is so great, then you should be moving into these Democratic states. But no, you're being pushed out of these Democratic states the more democratic the politics are there. And on top of that, I'm a Christian too on top of that. So what's most important to me is my contract with God, which is through, of course, the Bible. And a lot of it, I'm convicted against these, I'm not open-minded to these progressive policies that are for abortion and, LGBTQ community. I'm for the family, and I'm also for being able to stand up for my faith. And when I looked at the Democratic National Convention, and I looked at all the rallies, how they didn't want to pray, how they were taking God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And you go look at the rallies, they refused to pray at any of those rallies, and how they were just mixing in entertainment. It was this entertainment industry. You have a whole bunch of entertainers, and Beyonce and Common and all these folks. And inside the Republican National Convention, it's okay to say Jesus. It's okay to pray. You're not going to offend anybody if you say a prayer. And so that all their conventions, they prayed. And so as a Christian and just historically as a black person, looking at the history of the Democratic Party and how, like I just explained to you, how they kind of manipulate and trick and use emotional triggers to get blacks to ignore the evidence that's before their eyes is the reason for my Republican stance. So I really appreciate it, Miss Twitty. Thanks a lot for allowing me to share, and I really appreciate you for the work that you're doing. And I know you're on to some more things, and I'm just really happy for you. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Grimsley. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing your Republican thoughts. And there you have it, Republican Thoughts with Miss Twitty.
Thank you for watching. This concludes Republican Thoughts with Miss Twitty. Miss Twitty can be found by searching Miss Twitty on Google, Miss Twitty on YouTube, Miss Twitty on Facebook, Republican Thoughts on Facebook, and Miss Twitty, LLC on Instagram. I am the voice, Ted Wright, at Right Talk Voice Services, a service offering of Right Talk Business Consulting. Let us be the voice of your brand. Email inquiries to ted@righttalk.com. Until next time, be blessed, be positive, and be informed.